Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we've got more news, more leaks coming out from El Chico eevee on Buzzwole and Glaceon. We have their full movesets leaked now, so let's go ahead and dive into it because there's a lot to go over. So Buzzwole, the basic attack is each time a basic attack hits an opposing Pokemon, the muscle gauge charges by 0 increments. So some kind of a new resource muscle gauge for this Pokemon specifically. Think something like Queenly Majesty on Serena. Becomes a boosted attack with every third attack, throwing 2 consecutive punches while restoring the user's HP. Alright, the first move is Mega Punch. Has the user move in the designated direction before slamming the ground with a powerful punch. The shock from the punch deals damage to the opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. If this move hits Pokemon from the opposing team, the user's muscle gauge increases by 0 increments for each one that was hit. 5-second cooldown, so this builds your muscle gauge. Alright, move number 1 is Lunge. It has the user lunge in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon and decreasing their attack for a short time. Attack decrease, nice. If this move hits Pokemon from the opposing team, the user's muscle gauge increases by 0 increments for each one that was hit. After this move is used, the user's basic attack speed will increase for a short time. A maximum of 1 uses can be kept in reserve for this move, and the cooldown is 1 second. That's probably not right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Lunge Plus, the upgrade whenever this move hits opposing Pokemon from the other team, the user's attack increases for a short time. The more Pokemon from the opposing team are hit, the more the user's attack increases. Okay, so it becomes an attack drop and then an attack increase on upgrade. Really, really interesting. All right, next move, and I don't know, I'm assuming this is all upgraded of Mega Punch. Next move is Smackdown. It has the user deliver an uppercut punch to the opposing Pokemon in the designated direction, dealing damage to it and throwing it into the air. While the thrown Pokemon is airborne, the user can use this move again to perform a follow-up attack that smacks the Pokemon down to the ground, dealing damage to all opposing Pokemon in the area of effect centered on the Smackdown Pokemon. If the user does not follow up the initial uppercut attack, the opposing Pokemon will fall to the ground on its own. If this occurs, damage is still dealt to all opposing Pokemon in the area of effect centered on the point of impact. If this move deals damage to Pokemon on the opposing team, the user's muscle gauge increases by 0 increments for each one that was hit. Cooldown is 7 seconds. So this is much more of a single target CC move that also builds the gauge, but has a 7-second cooldown. So you're either going to be lunging around all over the place with a really low cooldown, or that number is wrong. We'll have to see. Smackdown Plus, the upgrade is widens the area of effect in which damage is dealt when the opposing Pokemon targeted by this move hits the ground. Also, the user's muscle gauge will now increase by 0 increments for each Pokemon the team takes damage from this move. So, presumably you can build your muscle gauge more. All right, next move is Fel Stinger, and this is what I'm assuming is the next basic move. We'll see. It consumes the entire muscle gauge and has the user deal damage to opposing Pokemon, or I either just read, yeah, okay. Consumes the entire muscle gauge and has the user deal damage to opposing Pokemon in the designated direction. This move deals more damage the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. If this move knocks out opposing Pokemon, the user recovers HP, and this is on an 8-second cooldown. I'm trying to figure out which ones are the basic moves and which ones are the, the moves that you move into. So Lunge or Mega Punch is a basic move that goes into Lunge or Smackdown, and then I'm assuming Fel Stinger is a basic move that will upgrade later. So sorry, I got a little confused there. All right, so Leech Life. Yep, that's what it is exactly. Okay, so let me reread that really quickly. Fel Stinger consumes the entire muscle gauge and has the user deal damage to opposing Pokemon in a designated direction. This move deals more damage the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. If the move knocks out an opposing Pokemon, the user recovers HP. So lots of recovering HP in this kit. And then you have Leech Life, which is the first ability for this second part of the kit. Has the user grab and restrain an opposing Pokemon in the designated direction, dealing damage over time while restoring the user's HP. When this move is used, it consumes the user's entire muscle gauge. The number of hits and the amount of damage dealt per hit increases the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. This move ends if the user becomes unable to act for any reason, or if the restrained Pokemon escapes by using an eject button or through some other means. Wow, that's really specific. This move ends if the user becomes unable to act for any reason, or if the restrained Pokemon escapes by using an eject button or through some other means. 9-second cooldown. The upgrade is Life Leech Plus. Also causes each instance of damage dealt by this move to be stronger than the last hit. 9-second cooldown. Okay, or you can get Superpower. Consume the entire muscle gauge and has the user run in the designated direction and grab opposing Pokemon. The user then slams the opposing Pokemon down on the ground at full strength, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. The damage dealt by this move And the shield effect it grants increases the more muscle gauge increments are consumed. 7.5 seconds. Super power plus resets the cooldown of this move when the user's muscle gauge reaches its maximum. What? This kit seems crazy. This kit seems crazy. Unite move, Ultra Swole Slam. I like it. Has the user fly at high speed, dealing damage to all opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Afterward, the user targets the opposing Pokemon with the lowest percentage of HP among those hit and charges down at it from the sky, dealing damage once again to that Pokemon. As the user fly at high speed, dealing damage to all opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Afterwards, the user targets the opposing Pokemon with the lowest percentage of HP among those hit and charges down at it from the sky, dealing damage once again to that Pokemon. This is just like, seems like an execute. This character seems like it has a lot of brawling potential. Like, you're gonna be in there and like restoring your health, and like knocking people up and doing crazy stuff. That's actually nuts. Buzzwole sounds really, really good. We have to see the damage, but the kit itself sounds really, really cool. And I forgot to read the passive, so let's go ahead and look at that. Buzzwole's passive is Beast Boost. When this Pokemon knocks out or assists in knocking out a Pokemon from the opposing team, its movement speed and basic attack speed increases for a short time. Also, each time this Pokemon hits opposing Pokemon with a basic attack or certain move, its muscle gauge charges. Conversely, when the Pokemon is not in combat, the muscle gauge depletes by 1 muscle gauge increment. Whenever a set amount of time passes, up to 0 muscle gauge increments can be stored. So you have to be like, you're gonna be like in there like hitting and knocking things and like basic attacking just constantly, probably, because that's how you're gonna be building that muscle gauge. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Glaceon. Now this one I'll start with the passive. So Runaway is when the Pokemon would be affected by a hindrance, the hindrance is negated and the Pokemon becomes invincible for a short time. There's a lot of these days, it seems like, anti-hindrance. This ability goes on cooldown after it's triggered. Snow Cloak. When Pokemon would be affected by a hindrance, the hindrance is negated and the Pokemon starts sneaking and becomes invincible for a short time. The ability goes on cooldown after it's triggered. So did I miss something? Sneaking? I don't know the difference. I don't know what the difference between Runaway and Snowcloak is. I'm guessing they just had to write it in for whenever you go from eevee Runaway to Snowcloak for Glaceon. But I think it's the same thing, I suppose. Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and read Eevee's abilities now. So we have basic attack becomes a boost at every 0 attacks, dealing increased damage and giving the user 1 ice crystal when the boosted attack hits. Swift creates 0 stars around the user for a short time. Afterward, each time the star hits an opposing Pokemon with a basic attack, 1 of the stars, or 2 of the stars in this case, boost will shoot out and deal damage to that Pokemon. It's literally Mystical Fire, but Swift, with a 5-second cooldown. Icicle Spear has the user launch all the stored ice crystals in rapid succession at the designated opposing Pokemon. If the user has no ice crystals, when this move is used, 0 ice crystals are instantly created, and those are launched. The crystals shatter when they hit the designated Pokemon, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Launched ice crystals can hit Pokemon in the opposing team that are not the designated target of this move. If this occurs, the ice crystals will still shatter on impact, dealing damage in the area of effect in the same way. Ice crystals launched by this move deal increasing damage each time they hit the same Pokemon. After this move is used, the cooldown of Ice Shard or Freeze Dry is reduced. Okay. Icicle Spear Plus. Upgrade each launched ice crystal also deals additional damage to opposing Pokemon it hits equal to the set percentage of their max HP. Ooh. Set percent of their max HP. That is going to be interesting. Icy Wind. This is the next move that you can upgrade Swift into. Has the user move a short distance in the designated direction. Mobility nice. Its next basic attack launches all of its stored ice crystals at the opposing Pokemon, dealing damage to it. The user then regains the same number of ice crystals that it launched. If the user hits the same opposing Pokemon with 1 or more ice crystals, that Pokemon's movement speed is decreased for a short time. The more ice crystals that hit that Pokemon, the stronger this movement speed decrease effect. If the user has no ice crystals when this move is used, the user gains 0 ice crystals. So it's going to gain some, we just don't have that data. And this is a 6-second cooldown. The upgrade is each launched ice crystal also deals additional damage to opposing Pokemon it hits equal to the set percentage of their max HP. Okay, so this character does percentage HP damage as like a mage. So that's going to be really, really interesting. Tail Whip, this is our next basic ability, has the user wag its tail in the opposing Pokemon at an opposing Pokemon, dealing damage and decreasing that Pokemon's defense, SP defense, and movement speed for a short time. The user's next basic attack after using this move becomes a boosted attack. 8-second cooldown. Okay. Glaceon sounds nuts too. Ice Shard, this is the upgrade for Tail Whip, increases the user's movement speed for a short time. Afterwards, the user's basic attack speed increases for a short time, and its basic attacks charge into attacks that hurl chunks of ice. The chunks of ice deal damage to opposing Pokemon they hit and decrease their movement speed for a short time. Each time a chunk of ice hits, the user gains 0 crystals, so X amount of crystals. The user gains 1 Ice Crystal if this move is used while launching Ice Crystals with Icicle Spear, or if it's used after Icy Wind has been used, but before the user has launched all of its Ice Crystals with the next basic attack. So, okay. So it has synergy with Icicle Spear and Icy Wind. The user gains 1 Ice Crystal if this move is used while launching Ice Crystals with Icicle Spear, or if it's used after Icy Wind has been used, but before the user has launched all of its Ice Crystals with the next basic attack. So Icy Wind requires you to like turn on the ability in the basic attack to shoot all your Ice Crystals. This move, you have to like synergize it, but you have to time it right. It's basically what they're saying. So interesting. Increases the user's movement speed for a short time. I'm rereading it. Afterwards, the user's basic attack speed increases for a short time. And it, basics turn into hurling chunks of ice. This is a really interesting kit. All right, let's look at the upgrade. The upgrade is Ice Shards Plus. Also increases the user's basic attack speed for the duration of the move's effect. Okay. And then we have the alternate move that you could pick instead. Freeze Dry. Increases the user's SP attack for a short time and has the user shoot out freezing bursts of air in forward direction. The bursts of air explode upon hitting the opposing Pokemon or after traveling a set amount of distance, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. For each Pokemon hit by the explosion, the user gains X Ice Crystals. The explosion also leaves behind an ice zone. This feels very Ninetales-ish, right? Little Ninetales. Opposing Pokemon that enter this ice zone will have their movement speed decrease. They will remain in the ice zone for a set amount of time. They become frozen for a short time. Okay. Yep. That's a thing. That's a thing. Yeah. Freeze Dry Plus upgrade for each opposing Pokemon hit by this move. Explosions. The user gains X Ice Crystals. Okay. Lots of Ice Crystals going to be coming around here. And then Glacial Stage, the Unite move, has the user leap high, creating an ice zone in front of it that deals damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. While the user is in the ice zone, its movement speed is increased and it gains X Ice Crystals. Whenever a set amount of time passes, the movement speed of opposing Pokemon in the ice zone is decreased. So this is very CC Mage, a little bit of area denial kind of kit. Okay, these Pokemon both sound really good. This kit is a little bit more confusing because you have to understand the nuance between the ice crystals. Buzzwole's kit really feels very brawly, almost hack and slash kind of feel. Like you're going to dive in and you're going to be punching and building your muscle gauge and then dumping your muscle gauge to like heal yourself and like healing yourself. So it's just get in and beat the hell out of something. It feels like Glaceon's kit's a little bit more nuanced. So that was like an interesting thing to get through. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We have to see numbers. Obviously, we don't know how great all of this is, and we don't have any footage yet. But once we get it, we're going to be taking a look. So friends, thank you so much for watching. Very interesting stuff. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to reread Glaceon's kit again because I just feel like my brain was a little all over the place trying to keep up with the icicle crystals and the ice shards and this, that, the other. But really, really interesting. So thank you so much for watching. Definitely make sure you go check out El Chico eevee on Twitter if you want to follow all these leaks in real time. He's always doing that for us. But yeah, be sure to be kind of loud. Tell someone you love them. And I'll see you in the next video.